All right, this is the Gulbransen Player Piano restoration that I've been working on. The last thing I think I posted was cleaning the pneumatics, and I don't have any parts yet for rebuilding the pneumatics. So I have moved on to the action. And again, I am not a professional. As a matter of fact, I've never been into a piano in my life, but I do like antiques, and this thing just really interests me, and I've decided to try to restore it myself. But anyway, here's the action. I have taken all of the components off of it. I've cleaned all the wood and painted all the upright steel parts. The regulators are all in there with new felt and all that. So here's something cool about the Gulbransen. Nationally priced for $450. 1915. That's what really draws me to these old pieces, is stuff like that you can tie to the time. But anyway, today I'm going to show about reshaping the hammers. This is all the components off of the action, and there's the hammers up there. These are the whippets, I believe they're called, and that's the dampeners over there. But the hammers themselves, I'm gonna get you put on a stand here where we can kind of see what's going on. All right, hopefully we can see. The hammers I've taken out and numbered. This one is number 11. I've got it written on the side, but you can see how filthy these hammers are. This is a bass hammer, but it's a 2-string. It's one of the double strings. You can see where it's made the impression there. I was going to put new hammers on this piano. When I priced them, it was $800 to have the new hammers, which they've got to be bored at a certain angle and all that. But to have that part done and to buy the hammers was $800. So I'm not putting hammers on it. I decided that I'm going to shape these, and I've learned what I can about shaping it, and I'll show you what I know about it. And then if somebody sees that I'm doing something extremely wrong, feel free to chime in, because this I am not a professional at this by any means. But I'll shape the hammer first, and then we're going to clean up the hammer and all this action here. This part's called the hammer, and I think this is the hammer shank. This is the hammer butt. This is the catcher, I believe. This is the catcher shaft or shank, and this is the bridle strap. This is the action leather that the whippet pushes up on. This is a piece of felt and a piece of felt, catcher felt and hammer butt felt, I believe. Then underneath the action leather, we got a little piece of felt there, a little piece of felt here. Then on the outside, we got a piece of leather here, and I think that's all. But all those pieces have to be replaced. Oh no, this is the spring felt for the return spring for the hammer. So all of those pieces have to individually be replaced on 88 hammers. So I had no idea it was such a intricate process, but it is. So and it's not, it doesn't seem to be difficult. It just seems to be that there's a lot to do. So I've got all the parts ordered. When they come in, we'll I'll start putting them together. Maybe I'll film some of that as well. But starting out with the hammer, because the hammer was the big dollar item, and it's amazing that for 1915 these hammers are firm. I mean, to those of you that know about pianos, that may not surprise you, but it surprises me because I don't know how this stuff ages. But what I have found out, correct me if I'm wrong, but this blue inner felt sort of helps you establish the outer shape that you want to maintain. These two parts here is where that it has struck the string, and this part needs to be removed. But you can't just sand it off flat. You have to maintain the original shape. So from my understanding, I've got some 60 grit sandpaper here, and I've got some 240 that I've been finishing it up with. And you want to maintain the angle as far as the face angle, like so. Don't let it tilt this way or this way. Don't let it tilt this way or this way. And we're going to start at the 3 and 6 o'clock position. So at 3 and 9, 3 o'clock and 9 o'clock, we'll start here, and we'll start shaping here, and we'll start bringing this down to where a corner begins to form. And by doing that, we leave this very tip undisturbed. We don't want to sand much of this off because this affects the overall length. So we're going to slowly remove this down, maintaining and following this radius of this blue as our guideline. And then when we get to the point and the points start coming together, then we'll make that last final little sanding on the tip. And you can feel the tip is much softer where it is struck over and over and over. And by just removing just a little bit of that, we firm that up, and we get a more uniform hammer density from one end to the other. But here's sort of the process from how I understand it that's working for me so far. I'll place this hammer like so. All right, and then with this flat block and 60 grit, I'm going to start, and you'll see how this starts to roll up. Okay, I'm trying to do my best to maintain somewhat of the original shape of the blue felt or wool or whatever it is that's under there. Okay, all right, let's see what we got. Oh, I kind of actually went a little too far this way. I still see the line where the string was, so I'm not going to be too worried about it. But now I'm going to have to bring this back. I guess that's proves to you that I'm an amateur at this. I was doing so good, and then the one that I film is the one that I make the mistake on. But we're going to go ahead with it. I still feel at the tip of it. There's the first string, there's the second string. Okay, it would be best if that was here and not over here, and I would know that right on the tip I hadn't removed any more material than is possible. But I don't believe I have, because I still see where the two strings touched. This is just barely sanded lower than that, and that is barely good enough. So therefore, I think if I go ahead and round this and just tie that into that, I think I should be fine. Should be fine. A little earlier than I meant to get there. You really should bring these up as to 2 points and let them slowly meet in the middle, and then make your last little rounding over. But now how do we follow our blue contour radius? Pretty good. Pretty good. And I could compare this to the other hammers that I've sanded. A lot of people say the hammers need to be on the piano. That may be true. I don't know. But this is what's working for me. And if it plays, it's going to save 800 bucks. So that's, at least for the time being. So now you can see the filth and dirt that's on the side. I mean, again, this is from 1915. I have a little brush here that came with some files. It's a file cleaning brush, and it seems to do a pretty good job at cleaning, or at least making better. I don't want to do too much because I don't want to modify the density of the felt, but just on the surface, if there's any dirt and contamination I can remove, I will. I'll take a 150 grit sandpaper now and smooth all this up good. holding it at a 90-degree angle to the face. We'll go over the sides. This part's just trying to clean it a little bit is all. There may be a better method to that, but all right, so I think the hammer is pretty well complete. The shape looks pretty good. It looks like it mimics the blue shape pretty well. Now we have this filth. This is dirty. This is dirty. This is dirty. What I have found out here is I'll take a gray scuff pad with a little alcohol. I want this piano to be, you know, to not be ashamed of it if it's opened up, because it is a player piano. So I want, you know, people to be able to see the inner workings of it. So we'll clean that. Okay. Then the hammer shank. You can see that it's dirty, so I'm going to scrub that clean with a little alcohol. And it's not going to be perfect, but it's clean. You know, it doesn't leave the film on it, and it looks more like an antique piece of furniture than it does just a dirty piece of wood. That's kind of, you know, I can handle the antique look. I just don't want the dirty look on it. Okay, and these are all the visible parts that show. Again, we'll come back and change all those other parts out later, but I wanted to go ahead and get